1, 2, 3.
I did not do that very well,
Maybe.
All right.
All right. So,
what team went first?
Man.
There's 2 teams.
We knew it was happening. We knew Mata said he wanted to go to a new team. Mata is now on SK Telecom T1. Finalizing a roster of Khan, Haru, Clid, Faker, whatever that backup dude's name is, because it doesn't matter at all, because he's not going to get starting time.
Wait, there's no backup for mid.
They said they got one, actually.
I didn't see it. I don't think...
I didn't see it, but they said they got one.
Really? I would like to see that. I don't think they said that.
What's his name?
Teddy,
who changed his name, I think.
It's still Teddy.
Still Teddy.
You're getting yourself thrown off right
now.
now.
You have Leo and Effort, and you have the king, best support in the entire game is Mata. And actually, people are going to be like, well, didn't he fail at Worlds? Nope. You factor in Mata's play was still really, really good.
What's confusing to me is
they actually blame Mata for their losses.
I don't care what anybody blames Mata for. He did not. It was not his fault.
Man, Mata. If you look at Mata's solo play from the KT series, that guy's still best.
He probably. I would say
support than half.
Smeb should not have lost lane.
So besides, to be fair, I predicted IG to beat them only because KT it's in their history to choke.
You're saying it off of the team that lost one game during the regular season and then lost the finals both times.
No, I'm saying
that's a choker right now.
I don't like KT's fine to root for in regular season, but in playoff big matches don't root for.
I'm gonna be honest. IG has.
I've learned my lesson a lot from
IG has been pretty terrible in every one of their best fives in China. They looked pretty terrible.
They won what? One best of 5 that wasn't against RNG.
They won both of the ones leading into the finals. Both sides.
They only ever really lost best of 5s to
RNG. What I'm saying is they didn't look great in the 2 they played though.
People say they factor that into maybe when you don't play on stage for.
Are you sitting on my blazer? Hey man,
this was wear that during the video.
This is for my Christmas party.
Oh, someone said you factor into when a team doesn't play on stage for like 2 weeks, they just don't play as good.
I don't want to give them that slack because a lot of the teams didn't play.
But yeah, this super team, that's a super team.
There's nothing you can say that isn't. It is definitely a super team.
The newest. That's what we should title the video. The newest super team in Korea.
I think
that would work, right?
I feel like that's a bit of a.
That's borderline.
It's borderline, so we shouldn't do it.
You said it. I hate. Oh my god, he doesn't let me do anything around here.
He wants to make.
I am shackled.
You are shackled.
So I think that this team, bold prediction for next year, is going to be in the World's Finals. I think they're gonna win the spring 2019 split.
I think they're gonna win summer. I think spring.
I'll say they'll win spring then.
I think they might win both. Honestly, I can't really say they'll only win one. I think they'll win both of them.
I think they'll definitely win spring, and I think that they'll go to MSI, and I think that they'll retake their throne back at MSI, and I think that they'll. Says a problem. Saying they're gonna win Worlds is crazy. I'm gonna have to look at them actually play, but I think they're good enough to make World Finals, win MSI, and win spring.
I want to see them function as a team before I say anything, but I have some big.
That's my bold prediction of 2019. So you guys ever watch this video again? You make sure you keep me to my word.
Keep you to.
And then Cloud9 beats them in the finals.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Sneaky Interlocks pizza Sivir.
And then Golden Glue 1v1's Faker. I bet it. This is all gonna happen.
And then Korea.
Okay. Glue. Well, right? What I think is going to happen, honestly, my biggest problem with this is, so again, I'm going to say this, I think the biggest success that SKT has had is using the shot caller as the top laner. So I'm kind of confused because...
Khan when he's ahead is absolutely...
Yeah, but he's not a shot caller. I don't think Khan's ever taken the role of shot calling. So,
no, he doesn't have to do it. Mono will do it for him.
Yeah, but it's kind of confusing how this is going to function. I've never seen them succeed with a shot caller that's not top, but I think Mata's good enough at shot calling.
Are you saying Taro was shot calling for them?
I don't know who was shot calling. I think it was Wolf at one point, and then they swapped to Faker shot calling for a bit. But
there's no way Untaro was shot calling.
Well, there's. I think that's the biggest reason why they kept trying to keep him in. They kept trying to give him a shot call, but you just couldn't do it.
You factoring he's not a good player in general.
You don't have to be a good player to be a good shot caller. I want you to remember that. That's a big thing. But I think the biggest problem with this is that they're gonna have to function around a Mata centered shot caller.
So let's just break it down. Because Mata's the newest player, and that makes a super team. Because everybody was like, no, we have a good team. Leo. You have Effort, Teddy, Faker, but now with Mata, this becomes a completely... This is like, on paper, this is the best roster we've seen outside the NA rosters that we've seen, and the only the one EU LCS roster that we've seen.
Are you saying... I'm saying this is the best Korean. I don't think the
best roster moves we've seen off season, I just see. Because, like, SKT looks like they tried the rookie thing, it didn't work out for them. We'll try a newer player in ADC like Teddy, who's still kind of a newer player. Second year playing?
That's a pretty long time in terms of longevity.
Wait, he started this year, right? In January, right?
No, he started the year.
Did he start in 20?
He started 17 or 16. I can't remember.
If he started this year, then
he started in 2016 during the summer. I'd have to remember that.
Because so they want a newish player. So
he's not newish, man.
What kind of newish?
No, what the problem is?
He had his coming out party this year.
No. He did really well in his first split. I'm just saying.
So basically, they're gonna go with a newer type-ish player.
Let's stop calling him that. I know that there's old people, but in terms of in terms of what it's been like,
let's go back to veterans. Let's just.
What I'm saying is, in terms of league longevity, like the league's not been around that. This is the 9th year.
Okay, so let's say they're like, we'll just go with veterans who know what they're doing, because veterans is what.
I don't think he's a veteran, but I think he's he's not a noob.
Like, veterans got them their success, so they're like, let's just run that back again. And people have to factor in, when they did this in 2015, they actually won Worlds. So they have some big plans for 2019. I think that, because people must factor in, when you look back at that 2015 SKT roster, after they lost MSI, they lost a total of 3 games, all at the end part of the year. They lost 2 against CJ Intis, which was the only best of 3 they lost. They never lost a single game up until the World Finals. They have that was one of the best win percentages of all time for a team.
I mean, yes. I feel like the biggest portion
of 3 games, all between summer to Worlds. 3 games. 2 are in their own region.
It's kind of hard to stack up against that, because they had, I think, the best Korean teams of all time were the year before that, and then obviously I think
the year before that, in 2013 SKT Telecom.
Well, that was a good team too, but I think 2014 was the best. Besides SKT, obviously, this season 5, I think they're the best. Well, there's the 2 best teams of all time, at least in the running. Mm-hmm. And then in 2015, we had who's in Korea to challenge them? Rox Tigers. Rox Tigers fell apart during the summer split. And I think there was no other team besides Rox Tigers.
They were still in 2nd, 3rd place, weren't they?
Yeah, they did fall apart for a bit, but I think they just
they fell apart because they lost to World Elite. Holy crap! And they kind of picked it up at Worlds.
They picked it back up towards the end of the split and then at Worlds, so I think it's kind of hard to say that they were going to lose to them. But I think SKT, like Samsung, did not.
This is the team to watch this year.
Yeah, SKT. Yeah. What I think is SKT obviously were the front runners through the entire year, besides the spring split.
Because even in the spring split, they were still a threat.
They were a threat, but obviously Rox Tigers looked amazing. In
the whole Easy Hoon Faker situation.
It was
kind of threw people off, but you factor in towards summer, they're like,
well, yeah. I was kind of thrown off why they didn't bring him to Worlds, because like at that point in time, Easy Hoon looked better on control mages than Faker.
Easy was at Worlds, remember?
Well, he was at. Oh wait, what am I saying? Tom. They replaced Tom. They got rid of Tom.
People said Tom was bad.
Tom was good at points. I mean, he looked like a pretty great jungler towards the beginning of the split, and then it was like they stopped using him.
I have to say that because remember, factoring SKT, they had a bad year. You know, at one point, you know, you're gonna have a bad year as an org. You're not gonna be the best forever. It happens in every single sport. No one team has been the best singly forever in any sport. It's never happened.
But
think now they're like, okay, we've learned. No more rookies, except for maybe ADC, who's kind of still in his mid. He's still early in his career. If he messes up, it doesn't matter because he put 4 amazing players around him. Doesn't even matter at this point. And Teddy can carry games anyway.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this roster. This roster on paper looks like one of the best of all time.
This is like, man, if this team fails, that's going to be like, if this team fails, you might as well stop being an SKT fan.
Nah, I mean, this is all centralized. I think the biggest question mark of this entire team is 100% going to be Khan. Khan is kind of worried.
I think it's going to be Haru.
Well, Haru's
question mark.
Haru was pretty consistent.
I think player to watch is Teddy. Biggest question mark is Haru.
I don't think Haru was a big question mark. First of all, because I think that he played unlike Khan, who he honestly fell apart. Khan fell apart during the summer split. He looked like he looked to be the best top laner
in the world.
In the world during the summer split of 2000.
You have spring in 2017. You have spring of 2018, where he was just absolutely better.
And then he just he kind of did not look great during. Well, I don't know about.
I mean, the whole King's Zone lineup didn't look good after a while.
Well, yeah, but you obviously have to blame him for a specific because he was on the team.
No, I mean, it's weird though. You factor in 3/5 of the Rox Tigers were on that roster. Yeah, and somehow it doesn't work.
It didn't work. They lost to Afrika. And it just I don't know.
They lost. It started earlier before that. Remember, they were looking kind of off at MSI.
They looked off. after
MSI.
right after MSI, they did not look the same. Right
It's
after
weird, though.
it came back from MSI, a completely different team, and they didn't like essentially dominate the Korean region like they had been before.
Like, I mean, people would factor in they still won games. It wasn't like,
I mean, they had the best record in Korea. They still tied for the best record in Korea. It's not like they.
But it wasn't
terrible.
like it was like
it wasn't
their cleanest.
It was not. It was their worst, their least clean actually.
But but on SKT, let's see. So it's differently. My player to watch is Teddy. I want to see how he performs with better players. Finally, people have always said that. Let's see him perform better with better players. My biggest question mark is Haru because their question mark has been their jungler since Bengi has left. And I think most player to flop, it's probably Khan.
Wait. What is the difference between question mark and flop? Like, would the question mark not be
straight on his head?
Well,
so who's your biggest question mark?
Well, obviously, I just said
it's Khan.
I think Khan is. It worries me a little bit. I think he's a great player.
Who's your player to watch?
I mean, are we naming this stuff?
Are you gonna say Faker is your player to watch?
I'm gonna say Faker is a good player to watch, but
obviously
obviously
he's washed up.
No one said he's washed up besides.
I've seen some stuff. People have been saying maybe
he had to play a different style because he had to be the carrier of the team, and I don't think that suited him well. I think the biggest problem I'm going to see is going to be coming from top lane because it is essentially we're going to have to see what the meta looks like. Then I don't think he looks great when it's not a carry top laner meta, but I think. I don't know how well this bot lane is going to gel together. I think Motto has worked well with pretty much every ADC he's worked with.
That's the problem. Motto's worked well with even people like Whoosh.
That is sad.
He did not like that, though.
I don't like any of that. But I think Mata's worked well with pretty much every C he's been with. I think Teddy looked great pretty much his entire career.
Losing a Mata was a hell of a bot lane, man. That was crazy.
At one point, Teddy was just completely under the radar. It was just ridiculous. The dude was just popping off every game with one of the worst teams. And they were like in playoff contention almost. With only Teddy on the team.
They helped another team. They helped Genji when they were called KSV get playoffs. That was crazy, man. Let's see. You gotta factor in. Okay, so let's see how the preseason is shaking up. Is what's gonna be the meta most likely for the regions? Every region now, based off 2018 Worlds, is gonna do their own thing.
Well, we can say that, but I think the meta is gonna kind of It's
kind of be a meta.
We'll see what the meta right now with the changes on the towers. I think it favors. I don't think it favors, what's it called?
I think it favors pushing lanes, actually.
Well, obviously it does. I think Demolition's going to be a pretty sought-after rune, but with the ability to kind of, like, control your stats more with the kind of secondary rune pages that they're putting.
I think top laners like Jace, Urgot are still going to be good. I think Jace will maybe be a staple top laner again.
See, I think this is not the best favorite. Like, it's not the most favored meta for Korea, but I think at the same time... Like, I think they're going to thrive well in it because they have one of the strongest... They have the strongest, in terms of just laners, they have the strongest laners.
Like, I remember back when they changed the whole, what was it called, the lane swap thing? Then having good players in your position to face each other mattered a lot more. So I think with the new turret changes, having good players in their actual positions are going to matter more.
It obviously matters more, but it can also say, hey, you need... If you early gank the top lane, which is kind of what the world's meta, it's like... It's obviously going to be centralized around who's the better laner.
Yeah.
Whoever the better laner is probably going to get that solo goal.
And yes, they're going to have bad days. I'm not saying SKT is going to go up on stage and just completely murder.
What I'm saying, I'm not worried about that, about bad days or anything. We're talking about, does this suit them? It obviously suits...
Does this type of team, you can make changes to a team, but is it the most beneficial to the team to have a bunch of super players?
What I'm saying... Well,
remember, it took KT Rolster a good year to get to Worlds, and they only made top 8.
They only made top 8 because they faced the best team...
The other best team at the tournament.
I think they would have made World Final against any other... If they had a road into Finals without IG...
You got to factor in, if IG got first in that group, KT faces Fnatic.
And probably stomps them too.
God,
I'm going to be honest, KT looked...
But Fnatic weren't bad. Maybe Fnatic
bad.
probably could have taken a game off KT Rolster.
I don't deny that, but I think they would have...
I'm thinking because people, you factor in KT Roll on the other side because of IG and they're all, first and second thing, but...
Okay, so what I think is, the this whole meta which is kind of what
maybe coming up?
The meta which is in the preseason as of right now focuses solely on...
I think all stars will kind of show it too.
Well, no, but this also shows nothing besides who likes to play Urgot. Oh, Urgot's a good character now. I can't say that.
Oh yeah.
But
no, all stars last year, it showed a lot of what is going to be a meta champion.
I don't use all stars to define anything because it's a joke tournament. But I think the biggest thing is going to be what turns around in the spring split is I think it's still going to be towards solo laner capabilities because of the turret changes. And I think that really benefits. It doesn't benefit the slow style of the Koreans, but it does benefit their lane dominance.
Like, Korea, from all the years they did well, favored just slow scaling metas. And if a team wasn't good enough to fight you, then they just won based off mechanics and macro play alone.
Mm-hmm.
But now the game has been changed to, if I do something first and I do it better than you, then I'm gonna win, which is weird. And if you give that person an aggressive champion and you give someone else like a slow scaling champion, it doesn't really work that way. And like, it was one of the fewest worlds where like being proactive is the way to win the game.
It was one of the worlds where even if you had, like, honestly, the macro wasn't essentially that great in this world. I think that proactivity kind of benefited way too many people.
I mean,
like,
proactivity should be a big factor. Like, if I do something faster than you, then I should have an advantage over you.
Faster does not always mean the correct call. I think the ganks worked out well for a lot of the teams, and it made the game fast paced, and I like that. I think that early game gold leads essentially just became too much for people to overcome, unlike the earlier game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest reason as to why I didn't like it is the fact that the deficits were honestly too big. The deficits became too overbearing.
There were some teams with like 15,000 gold down in 15 minutes. Like, how are you going to win against that? You can't, but just looking at the SKT roster on paper, I'm thinking first place. I think top 4 minimum for them in spring. I think.
Yeah, I think they're going to get third to first.
I think top 4, because you have to factor in a lot of things are unpredictable LCK.
Yeah.
Because at one point in Korea, it was a clear defined top 4. Now it's been all completely changed over. I think they'll easily be top 4. They'll make playoffs easily. I think they'll win the split. I think they'll go to MSI. I'll have to see what China's sending to MSI before we talk about what's going to happen to MSI this year, because we'll do that video when it comes around.
I mean, China's looking great this year. They made some drastic changes, honestly.
Yeah, they're like, we won Worlds, so we're going to keep trying to win Worlds too. But yeah, I think this SKT roster is going to be one of the most... If this SKT roster goes to Worlds, this will be the most threatening team they'll actually have there.
I would like to see... I would like to think that, but I don't think that they're the like, completely best team in the world right now.
Oh yeah, because the game has...
I mean, in Korea, because we have not seen...
Yeah, they haven't even met each other yet.
It's not that. It's like we haven't seen the rest of the rosters. We haven't finalized any of that. I think... As it stands right now, they're by far and away the best team on paper.
Mm-hmm. And then that's pretty much it for this.
Nope.
You want to do the other one, or just put that in the EU one?
The Korean team? I thought this is Korean.
This is news. But I wanted to just about SKT though.
You want to put Korean news in the EU video?
I mean, it's just news. It doesn't really matter if you want to do that.
It's up to you, man.
This is just about SKT. I kind of want to just keep it that way.
Okay, we will keep it just about SKT then.
Thank you.
Do not touch me. All right.